Hi, today we're going to learn to draw an ogre. We're using this book that you can find in the library. And we're going to go ahead and start. This is kind of the layout of our ogre, but I'm going to go ahead and draw it and show you what to do. So the first thing we're going to draw, and I have some scrap paper, so you're going to see some spots coming through here. But the first thing you're going to do is draw a circle. That's going to act as his head. And then you're going to draw from about here, you're going to come down and around, my paper shifting, and back up, and that's going to act as his body. Then the next thing we're going to need are some legs. So we're going to draw a line down, and then we're going to give him some shoes. Make sure you have a good eraser because we're going to do a lot of erasing on this guy. And then we're going to start his hands or his arms. The first one's going to start right about here. And we're going to come down. And I probably came down a little far. We're going to put a oval there as his hand. And then we're going to do the same on the other side, except on the other side we're going to start right here, just a little above where these two lines meet. And again, we're going to come down, and we're going to put an oval there for his hand. Okay? Then we're going to come back up to this shoulder up here. We're going to start at this line, and we're going to follow it, but when we get down here, we're just going to go off. And then we're going to bring it into the body. And then this line can be erased. That's his sleeve. Okay. Then you're going to take right at this corner and come in. And that's going to be with the inside of his sleeve where it shows. Now we need to fix up his arm a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and we use this line as a guideline. But we're actually going to make this a little bit wider. Come around, and then this one we're going to follow his shirt around, and then in here we're going to connect it. Okay, then we can get rid of that guideline that we had initially made. Sorry, this is a little bit hard one-handed. And I'm realizing now that his hand's a little bit small, so I'm going to go ahead and make that oval a little bigger because he's a big guy. This is where your eraser comes into play. Okay, and then I'm going to erase that line there at his wrist because we're not going to need that. Okay, so that's kind of his fist. Now, on the other side, we also need a sleeve. So again, we're going to come down and we're going to come out and back in, and then we can get rid of that line. And then we need to also fix up his arm. I know you're bouncing all over, but I'm trying to draw one-handed here. Okay, so then you're going to come around and just make his arm look a little more like an arm. So it does take a lot of erasing. That's part of drawing. Okay, you're going to come in. Okay, so now his arm looks a little bit more like a guy his size should have. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fix this hand. We're going to actually erase it. Don't need that oval at all. And then we're going to bring it in and go ahead and give him a thumb and 4 fingers and connect it to his arm. And that's all that hand's going to do. This hand over here, we're going to be adding something to in just a little bit, but we're going to go to his legs. So on his legs, we're going to come from here across. This again is our guideline. That's not going to stay there. Then we're going to come down here and down here, and that kind of forms his boot. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this line here. And we're going to get rid of that guideline now. We don't need that. Okay, we'll get back to his boot there in a second because we need one on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up from here and come in the center. And then I'm going to go ahead and come down. This is the second leg. And then I'm going to come down there as well. And then I'm going to get rid of that guideline in the top of this oval. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a line across. That's his boot again. Okay. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and fix up his foot. I'm going to pause mine and fix up the shape a little bit. You can see that I'm a little too round back here. This one looks better where it's straight and curved. So I'm going to fix this one up, but I'm going to use both my hands. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, you can see I kind of straightened out both of his feet and took the round off on this side and straightened it a little bit. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and add some little crease lines on his boots just to make them look a little realistic or more realistic. And then also give him one of those sort of a sole on his bottom of his boot. Okay, so his boots are done. And then this will be his pants. You know, your pants aren't always straight, so you kind of maybe give it a little wave on that line just to give it a little more realistic look to it. And then what I'm going to do is on the corner of this hand, I'm going to come out and I'm going to be forming a triangle, coming back in, and then I'm going to follow that line up here and round it and come back down, and that makes sort of a club. He's holding a club. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that middle line because I don't need that. And again, you can play with your club. I'm going to play with mine and make it a little bit less ovally up here and round it off a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and move down to his waist, and here he has sort of a part of his shirt that hangs down, and so we're going to go like this all the way across, just kind of give it almost like a ruffle. I don't want to say ruffle because he's an ogre, but it's a ruffle. So I put that all the way across, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove these excess lines on there. Okay, and then on his waistband I'm going to go ahead and put a little extra shading, because sometimes when you're have something like that, it has a little bit of a wrinkle or extra bend, and I'm going to put a couple lines over here too to kind of just show you that. All right, just to make them a little more realistic. Then in the center, we're going to come down from, see where I am on the circle? I'm going to come down and make a triangle, and then I'm going to make 3 lines, and this is like the top of his shirt. You'll see how I did those. Okay, and then we're going to move up to his face. Basically his body's done, and you can go ahead and put in any shading and stuff when you color him, and you'll want to clean up some of your eraser marks. Mine aren't super clean. Okay, I'm going to come to his face, and I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to come out, so he has kind of a bulbous nose like that. And then here I'm going to give him some shaggy eyebrows off the top of there and off the top of there. Okay, then from there I'm going to make a round eye in this spot, and over here he's got some big eyes, and then I'm going to fill in the center there. And then he's not a super happy guy, so I'm just going to give him a mouth. And then let's give him some hair. So I'm going to go down, up, up, up. And you can make his hair however you want it to be. Now, the last thing that he needs are his ears. So we're going to come about here. And I'm going to go up to a point and come down. And then I'm going to go like that, like a V inside his ear. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. This one's actually going to come down to here where his shirt is. So I'm going to go up to make that point, come down. Okay, now that ear's a little bit bigger than the other one, so all I got to do is erase it and shorten it up a little bit. Okay, and then there's our ogre. I'd love to see your pictures. If you do one, go ahead and show me, and post it here in the comments. I am going to erase, like, you can erase this line here. You don't need it. Leave a little bit down here to show his shoulder. And the same over here. So get rid of some of those guidelines. Okay. And then you're ready to color and shade him and make him look great. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.